Okay, I have a story about the vet, and this vet reminds me of my last dentist that I had, and I'll tell you why at the end of the video here. So what happened was my wife has this cat that she got about 2.5 years ago as a kitten, and beautiful cat. Yeah, love the cat. Personally, I don't care for cats. Try leaving for a week and see if they miss you. They don't care, right? All they want is food and to be petted. So I really don't care for cats. But she loves this little cat. We had noticed that this cat had not been eating any food for about 3 days. And it stayed inside. And this is on a beautiful day, and it had never done that before. It's almost like an indoor-outdoor cat. It prefers to be out at night. And it comes in the morning, eats and sleeps, goes back out at night. That's the habit. Well, it didn't want to go out. So it laid around, didn't move for about 24 hours. And then when it got up, it would not eat or drink. And it would wheeze, not all the time, but that was enough to know that there's something lodged in the throat of this cat. So I tried to look in. She wasn't going to let me have that. So it came time after 3 days to take this cat out to the emergency vet. So we get out to the emergency vet. And this guy, the aide comes in, we go into a room, they ask questions about the cat, and then the vet comes in. And because it's the emergency vet, this is like 8 p.m. at night, right? So first we had to, before we could even be admitted, we had to pay the $185 emergency vet fee. So I went ahead and paid that, and we go in, and the vet comes in and takes the cat for just a little, no x-rays or anything like that. They just wanted to do an evaluation. So they removed the cat from the room that my wife and I were in. And while they were out, my wife and I are talking about the expenses, right? Like, how much are we willing to spend on a cat? Now, me, I had already shelled out less than $200. And I'm not really into shelling out money for animals, like cats. Everybody has their own limit. And, my limit is probably what we spent to get there. But I was not in the decision-making process because this is my wife's cat. Okay, she knows, hey, it's hers. Any financial decisions are hers to make, right? So, I'm thinking, well, x-rays and stuff like that, we should get out of here with about $500. I'm telling her. And she says, yeah, that's reasonable. So the vet comes back in, they bring the cat in, and he goes on to describe how the examination went. And he says what we pretty much already knew, that, yeah, there's something stuck, lodged in her esophagus, but we need x-rays and we need blood work. And so I asked, well, how much do you think that's going to cost? And he says, well, it should be about $200. And I'm looking at my wife, and I'm like, that sounds okay, We can do this. Go ahead. So the aide comes in with a form for us to sign, and the vet had said 200, but the form's just like $950. And I'm like, my eyes go big. And my wife said, no, we're not doing that, right? And inside I'm saying, yeah, nature is, right? Nature is as nature does. We love our pets and our animals, but there comes a point where nature takes over. And, if the cat had been in the wild with something lodged in its throat, it couldn't eat, and it died of starvation or thirst, that's nature, okay? So, we refused to sign that. And we told her, no, that's a little bit above what we're willing to pay. So she goes back, and the vet comes back in, and he says, okay, well, if you change your mind, bring your cat back, and, we can go from there. So we didn't do anything else. We paid the emergency vet office visit fee, and that was it. We took the cat back home. So, I'm thinking, hey, if there's something lodged in her esophagus, maybe a throat massage might work. So I put the cat on my lap, and I started, let's see here, I'm holding my iPad. Probably not a good thing, but I started massaging her esophagus like this. to see, number one, I started a light to see if it would injure the cat, but the cat liked it. So I stopped, and the cat like moved her throat to my hands. So I started doing it again, and she loved it, right? So I did that for about 5 minutes. And then I took a break, and I think a couple hours later, maybe a little longer, I did it again. We went to bed because it was already late, and woke up in the morning, and the cat is eating and drinking. So my theory was, yeah, there was something lodged in her throat, a lizard tail or a dragonfly. Lord knows what she eats at night, right? But massaging her esophagus did the trick. And I was very disappointed that the vet did not even recommend that, right? Like, yeah, you're a vet, you should know things, right? But then I understood why. And then I thought of my dentist, or the last dentist that I had. So I go to my dentist. Last time I'd been to a dentist was 5 years ago. So I go in, the guy says, oh, you have gingivitis, we need all this, that, dot, dot, dot. Now, when I was in the Navy, I had orthodontics, and this tooth right here loosened up. So they put like glue to they bonded it to the tooth beside it. He wanted to remove that. He wanted to put an implant, and he wanted to make me a Cadillac out of a 1957 beat up Chevy, right? And I'm like, listen to this guy saying, you're freaking nuts, man, because I have not asked for any of that. I was there for a cleaning, which, you know, back then I was on board every 6 months. That's what they say. Well, you know, and then I had to step back because it's all just a financial scam. You know, they have mortgages to pay, they have a building to pay for, they have employees to pay for. They don't really give a shit about you, right? They just need money. That's why they want socialized medicine. That's a guaranteed steady paycheck. If you have everybody that you build their insurance periodically, right? And if they force it on you, that's just steady income for them. So I have not been to a dentist in 5 years. I still pay for my insurance, right? Because my wife does. You know, I'm not going to stop her from doing what she does. And it's fairly cheap. So it's just one of those expenses I don't use. Okay, but I still pay for it. So, and that reminded me of this vet. You know, he probably knew there was nothing there, but he's trying to milk me. And that the $950, $795 was for x-rays, and then additional costs, blood work and stuff like that came out to about $950. That wasn't even the cure, okay? So I said, and I asked him, I said, well, if we paid that, how much more is it going to cost? He said, well, we really don't know. It depends on if there's surgery required. And I'm like, oh, good God. So I looked at that little cat and I said, you better hope you get well. So that's my story about the vet. This is a Cold War sailor. Out.